Nigerians are once again groaning under the increased price of petrol as NNPC outlets in Lagos State are selling at 998 naira and over 1,000 naira in other states. Meanwhile, Rivers State witnessed post-local government election violence, which led to the burning of 3 council offices in Rivers State. This is Standpoint. I'm Olamide Adeyemi. Thank you for joining us. NNPC Limited has increased petrol prices by over 15%, marking the second hike in less than a month, and the third time this year. At NNPC fuel stations in Lagos State, the price of gasoline rose to 998 naira per litre from 858 naira, while in Abuja, the price increased to 1,030 naira per litre from 950 naira. Long queues formed as customers came to terms with higher prices. The price development comes weeks after the NNPC commenced petrol lifting at the Dangote Petroleum Refineries after an extended period of price negotiations. Well, joining me to discuss this recent development is the National President of the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Belly Gillis Harry. It's good to have you join us at this time.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So let's start with your own understanding of what the recent, hike in price in petrol. What's the reason for that, especially at the time where Nigerians were expecting the Naira to Naira deal to begin?
Well, I really don't have any clear explanation to make, except that I'm fully aware that the prices of landed 1 liter of petroleum product is increasing due to fluctuations in our exchange rate. And of course, there's also a very clear need to completely remove subsidy and deregulate the sector. So any of these factors could have been the reason why there is a price difference.
And I'm concerned about, how Nigerians are going to see this, especially for those who had to buy double prices in recent weeks. We're expecting another increase due to what you said about the landing cost.
Yeah, well, the issue here is I sympathize with me, and with every Nigerian inclusive, that in these hard times, we are also still experiencing a little bit more challenge in how we can ensure that our economic activities are driven, mostly because we are dependent on PMS, Petrol, to fire our mobility, our transportation, and such like expenses that involve our daily, exposures. As much as I feel very concerned about it, I think that it will be worse if we don't have petroleum product available at all. So let's hold NNPC accountable, and even us and the NNP, all the in-country refining capacities, to make sure that there is enough petroleum product in country to make our stations work. And then thereafter, we can be discussing about what prices will be, so we can allow the forces of purchase and demand, to determine how the prices will be. However, while that is going on, whatever subsidy that is going to be removed should be applied directly to what concerns the growth of the economy for the benefit of all Nigerians.
And some are really questioning about whether it's really the forces of demand and supply that is affecting the hike in price. We understand that the NNPC have decided to terminate its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote, and this means that marketers can now negotiate prices directly. Shouldn't that make the price more competitive in that sense?
Well, I believe that the competitiveness of the price will be dependent on realistic real factors on ground. For instance, we have communicated to Dangote Refinery to let us know how we can do transactions. And I'm sure that we are going to get some response shortly. NNPC is also talking with us. We have laid our concerns to NNPC, and they have also looked at those concerns of the price of our purchasing, level. And then once all of these things come together, there will be much more supply processes and supply sources that can then compete. And I think it's only at that point we can begin to look at what is the issue about this price, what is the input that has made this price to come at this point, and what can we do to reduce them. But until we see that inflow of petroleum products from different sources, I mean, we are just stuck with what we have, so far. But that does not mean that it is the best. It's not the best. Somebody even misunderstood me in one of my interviews and was thinking that I was saying that we are landing product at $1. No, I am saying that, to my knowledge, products, PMS today is not landing in Nigeria for far less than that $1. So what it means is that we just have to, make some sacrifices and ensure, that we hold the system accountable to give us alternative sources of energy, and also ensuring that whatever that we need to do, we do to make Nigeria, work.
And talking about holding the system accountable, you are the president of the Petroleum Product Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria. So we can begin with you about how much your members got the product and how much you're selling for.
Well, so far, NNPC published what our ex-depot prices will be. In a bid to try to make sure that we do not pass the whole of that burden to our patrons, we have also made our thoughts known to NNPC. And this is the beauty about NNPC's communication center. Whatever that is being done, they try to reach out to stakeholders and inform us, and accurately. So that is also going to impact on what kind of prices that we'll finally buy from them. So we are not comfortable with these prices because it's difficult for us to raise the money to buy that from our financial institutions, but we must do our best to serve Nigeria. And that is the kind of sacrifice we are making. It's not about the kind of profit we'll make, but about the reasons why we must always make sure that we bend backwards, make the requisite sacrifice, and make sure petroleum products is in our retail outlets.
And before we go to what you said about using alternative sources of energy and what this will mean for your own association, it's great that this is coming at a time we're talking about a food regulation of the oil sector. But if that were to happen, what would this mean in terms of pricing and possibly the stability of the Naira?
Sorry, you're so low, I can't hear you at all.
What I was asking is that I'm still going to talk to you about what you said on using alternative sources of energy and Nigerians' attitude to that, if you can hear me. And I want to talk to you about the idea of...
If you are close enough to the mic, I will hear you.
I can hear you very clearly. What I was asking you was about the food regulation of the oil sector. You mentioned using alternative sources of energy. And before I talk to you about that, I want to ask you about what a food regulation will really mean in terms of pricing and possibly the stability of the Naira.
Well, the regulation means that we should not expect the federal government to make payments as subsidy or any kind of name that it is called to the PMS. We should allow petroleum products, especially PMS, to be sold in the market at its proper market value. If we land the product at 800 Naira, we should work by the tenets of the PIA as to how our price mechanism should be, to focus on just how that would be. And in doing that, we should also be able to look at how we can source for foreign exchange to pay for these products, while we're also getting locally refined ones and also from NNPC sources. So this way we have enough product. So full deregulation means that you are removing complete subsidy, and then you will allow the sector to, to function within the confines of the demand of the product and supply of the product, so that the market price will determine exactly what PMS price will be. That is full deregulation.
All right, I would like to bring you back to a statement that the NNPCL made. They released this statement last month. And a part of this read that the recent changes in the PMS price have no impact on DRL or any domestic refineries' access to the Nigerian markets. Are we still importing petrol?
Well, certainly we are buying product from NNPC from imports. There is no refinery that is producing for NNPC. We were told that the NNPC picked about 300 trucks of PMS from Dangote Refinery. NNPC's number of filling stations are much more than 300. So even if they have to send one truck to each station, that would be a sale for just maybe 1 day or 2 day sale. So thereafter, we've never been told that there is any more lifting by NNPC. And when we buy from NNPC. We don't buy from anywhere else except NNPC sources and the depots that also buy from NNPC to recalibrate and resell to us.
And taking it back to what you mentioned about alternative sources of energy, we see that the federal government is rolling out CNG buses, especially for transportation, to reduce the cost of transportation. In that sense, Nigerians' attitude to this, what this is going to mean for your own association, talk to us about that.
I would have been very happy if I could hear you much more clearly, because it's like you're a little bit far from your mic.
Well, I'm hoping you can hear me now. I'm hoping you can hear me now.
I hear you, but sometimes you come in and you go out. So
all right, maybe we'll have to go in on a break for that, but I'll just take the question again. You were talking about alternative sources of energy and what this means for Nigeria as a whole in terms of, generating as much revenue. But what would this mean for your own association?
Well, if you are talking about the alternative sources of energy, like renewables and CNG, gas-fired automobiles or transportation methods, Petron still plays a critical role, because we also have what is called the Petron system, where we are also talking about energy, different kinds of energy that work with us. So it is not going to impact on our business negatively. We are more than happy to advance the cost of the renewable energy because you need retail outlets to also charge your EV vehicles. You need retail outlets to dispense CNG or LPG or any kind of gas that you fire. So we are still in business, and we'll be happy if we can make these services available to Nigerians at a much more lower cost. And with these alternative sources of energy, if it is annexed properly, will guarantee that.
And I was talking to you earlier about, you mentioned importation of raw materials to produce the fuel that we're using. But if the price of petrol is still being determined, the landed cost itself is still being determined by the dollar rate. What does this mean for how and where we source our products and also pricing in coming months?
I believe that there's a lot of moving parts today, and NNPC is doing quite a bit in trying to relate with us, and I'm sure Dangote Refinery also will do the same. And I also still, believe, that the NNPC refineries will come on stream, and there'll be quite a lot of petroleum product that should be available. And with all these myriads of sources coming, we should then be able to negotiate our prices. Petron has quite a number of stations under our management. The other associations that are lead, MEMAN, DAPMAN, and IPMAN also have quite a lot of membership. And so I believe that we can be able to negotiate with different sources of where we get petroleum product to get prices that will be competitive and affordable for the Nigerians who today are cash-strapped and are having difficulties in even buying some of the products we have in our retail outlets because of, the buying power that has been so drained.
It's not really the major, concern. Cost is the major challenge. There were hopes for the Dangote Refinery in terms of pricing, and some saw it as a way out from, the rising cost of fuel at that time. What are the options for Nigerians at this time, well beyond the CNG buses, alternative sources of energy that have been put in place?
Well, that's like I said, there are moving parts. Dangote Refinery has come on stream. Hopefully, in a short while, we will get to know how we can get petroleum products from that company, and how we will be able to distribute same to Nigerians. NNPC is doing our best, reaching out to us and always meeting up with the needed information source we want. We ourselves are trying to make sure that we also seek for ways and means to bring in petroleum products that will be affordable and meeting the spec of the NNDPRA. And, if we succeed, and when we succeed with all of this, I think that Nigerians will be the better for it in terms of energy security.
And I would like to, share your knowledge if you have any information about why the Naira to Naira deal has really not begun. And will this at least, guarantee a reduction in the pump price?
The what? What did you say?
Will this at least guarantee a reduction in the pump price? I'm trying to understand if you have any information as the president of your association about why the Naira to Naira deal is yet to begin.
Well, if you recall, Petron was in the early days at the forefront of making the advocation for selling crude oil in Nigerian naira to the Nigerian refineries. Government, in their wisdom, picked up that factor and ran with it. And right now, from what we were told, this was supposed to start on the 1st of October. But we are an association. We don't run the business of government policies or the internal workings of NNPC or Dangote Refinery. So we certainly are not in a position to say why that transaction has not been activated and why we're yet to see it. All we've just seen is in the news to say that the deal has been concluded and we should be able to see such deliveries coming up with about 12 million barrels earmarked, to be delivered to Dangote Refinery. So I expect that will be done, and we hope that will be done speedily.
And also talk to us about, the prospect of a possible reduction in pump price. Perhaps if we have refineries running, like the NNPCL has, planned to begin operation and also relying on the Dangote Refinery, what are the prospects for the stability of the Naira in that sense?
Okay. My thinking, or our thinking in Petron, is that when we have adequate in-country refining done, it will affect prices. But the argument has been on whether that will drastically reduce the price of PMS at the pump. However, my approach to everything that is done is practical. Let us get empirical evidence in computing what is real and what can be achieved. But, in ordinary terms, when you have removed the cost of shipping crude oil to refine overseas and ship it back, and all of those import elements and costs are removed in between, that it should impact very, positively for the price to reduce drastically. But so far, we are not yet able to compute that. But I believe that computation by Petron was not in error, that if refining capacity in Nigeria is increased and we have products that are flooded in the system, competition for purchase will make the price to come down. But right now, we have just only the Dangote Refinery that is giving us that hope. And we are yet to see the PMS rolled out through our various associations that can easily take this product to the nooks and crannies. So it will be difficult for me to calculate whether the prices will come down or not. But what I know is that if there is a lot of products in country, whether imported or refined in country, it will affect the price and the price will come down.
All right, National President of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Dr. Bello Gillis Harry, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much for having us today.
We're still on to The Standpoint on TVC News. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.